Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 74th episode of Don't Forget the Popcorn. Today, we'll be going over everything I watched in February. Not as many as I normally have, so this shouldn't be as long. I'll point on my top 5 of the month as usual. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get into everything I watched in February. Rosewood, 1997, directed by John Singleton. It's February, so I decided to watch a couple Black History movies. Rosewood is one of the most effed up movies I've ever seen. It was pretty good though. It's about this small town where there are some free blacks and a lot of them are thriving. And this woman, a white woman, claims that a black man has assaulted her in a bad way. And everyone goes insane and just starts hunting down black people left and right. It was pretty wild. Um, I, if you're into Black History movies, I guess I could suggest this. But this is a tough watch, but it is a good film. So I'm gonna give Rosewood an 8 out of 10. Jumanji: The Next Level, 2019, directed by Jake Kasdan. I had a good time with the first Jumanji movie, and it took me way too long to see the second one. But none of them are the original Robin Williams, but this was a fun entry. Aquafina was a great addition. Danny Glover, Danny DeVito. I thought it was a very fun film. I had a great time with it. Kevin Hart was incredible. I thought he put on one of his better performances in this movie, actually. Um, if you like fun action comedies, yeah, definitely check this out. I'll give Jumanji a 7.3 out of 10. La Ventura, 1960, directed by Michelangelo Antonioni. This is a great Italian film. It's about two young women who end up going on a boat ride, and they go to an island, and one of the women just magically disappears. And the other woman and the chick's boyfriend, they set out to find her, and they end up falling in love. It's a great film. It was really close to making my top 5 of the month. I had a great time with this. If you're into romance movies, I would highly suggest this one. I'm going to give La Ventura an 8.6 out of 10. Knight of Cups, 2015, directed by Terrence Malick. Okay, this movie doesn't really have a plot. This movie is, if you're familiar with Terrence Malick, you'll understand this movie. At least if you're familiar with his newer stuff. This is just a visually striking film, and you kind of just follow Christian Bale around, and it goes through a couple little segments of his life, a couple of his relationships, things like that. But nothing really is going on here. But it was a beautiful film, but it is definitely not for everyone. This is for deep cinephiles, Terrence Malick fans. But I would give this film a 7.4 out of 10. All of Us Strangers, 2023, directed by Andrew Hay. Okay, this was another one that was really close to making my top 5. This was a very touching film. This film is about a young gay man who is struggling with the loss of his parents, and he's a writer, and he's going through and having these dream sequences where he meets and talks to his parents, and he gets to know them because they died very young. All while that's going on, he has started a relationship with a young man that lives in his apartment building. Guys, this movie was very, very touching. I loved it. I thought it was very great. I thought Andrew Scott and the guy, what's his name, Pescal, he was in the film After Sun that he got the Oscar nom for. They were both incredible. I think their performances got overlooked. I would give All of Us Strangers an 8.7 out of 10. I'm Thinking of Ending Things, 2020, directed by Charlie Kaufman. Now, I love Charlie Kaufman as a writer, director. I think he is incredible. But I did not like this movie. I get what it was going for, I get what he was doing, but I just didn't like the execution. I thought it was very boring, if you want me to be honest. I was very disappointed because I expected a lot more coming from Charlie because he is great. I usually like everything he does, and we'll talk about him again later, but this movie just wasn't for me. I I could see a lot of people getting something from this, so I can't say it wouldn't be for you, but it's definitely not for the average watcher. I'm thinking of ending things, a 5.3 out of 10. Brazil, 1985, directed by Terry Gilliam. Now, Terry Gilliam is a very interesting director. He's done some very fun and, wacky movies. Like, one of my favorites from him is like Fear and Loathing. But of course, we going way back to like Monty Python era and stuff. So he's a great guy. This is a weird, trippy sci-fi film, but I did enjoy it. It's got one of my favorite Robert De Niro cameos in it. Every time he pops up in this movie, I love it. But it's essentially about this futuristic like government agency type thing. They make a mistake and accidentally get this wrong guy, and it just sets off this terrible chain of events. But it's just a wacky, weird sci-fi comedy. If you're into some trippy, weird, funny stuff that most people wouldn't like, I would suggest this. But it wasn't bad. I'll give Brazil a 7 out of 10. Burning, 2018, directed by Lee Chang Dong. This one was close to making my top 5 of the month. This movie was incredible. It's an interesting mystery thriller about a young guy who ends up meeting up with someone from his past, and they reconnect, and she goes missing, and sets out to figure out what happens. And that's all I'm gonna say about this because I would highly suggest this film to anyone. Burning was awesome. I'm going to give Burning an 8.5 out of 10. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, 2015, directed by Alfonso Gomez Rejon. All right, this movie hit me on a personal level, not because of necessarily what it's about, just because the way the kids are in this film, I could relate to them a lot. I've never had a friend go through what their friend was going through. This film's about a guy who befriends a young girl who has cancer, and him and his buddy and her, they form an interesting friendship. But these kids, man, they're huge cinephiles and they love film like I love film. And they're into a lot of the same films I'm into. And this film was absolutely beautiful. It was funny. It was touching. I loved everything about it. I thought it was one of the best coming of age films I've watched in a good while. Well, we'll talk about another one later that I really like too. But and Earl and Dying Girl is a top 5 watch of the month for me. And I'm going to give Me and Earl and the Dying Girl a 9 out of 10. Big Night, 1996, directed by Stanley Tucci and Campbell Scott. Hey, I really enjoyed this film. This film is about uh, two brothers who are immigrated from Italy to America to open a restaurant and start a life here. And they're going under and things aren't looking great. And they have one big night to prove something and make some things happen. And it's just a fun, interesting, you know, movie about food. If you love food and appreciate cooking, you will absolutely love this movie. I thought it was a great watch. I'm gonna give Big Night an 8 out of 10. All right, this next one might be a tad controversial. Animal, 2023, directed by Sandeep Reddy Vega. Animal is a film that's been getting talked about a little bit lately, and now it's on Netflix, so everybody can go and watch it. The reviews aren't great for this movie. The Letterboxd score is all over the place. It is a very divisive film. Some people love it, some people hate it. A lot of people have strong criticisms about it. But I am sorry. I hate if I offend anyone. I am in camp love. I love this movie. And It is not perfect, okay? It's not perfect. There's so many issues with this movie, it's not even funny, but god damn it, the lead in this film is just too fun, charismatic, to not love it. This movie is insane. It's just a testosterone-filled, high-octane ride that I just had a blast on. I'm sorry, I love this movie. I've rewatched some of the scenes from this movie like 5, 6 times, and it's a top 5 of the month for me on a personal level. I'm sorry, man. I would highly suggest Animal. If you like action movies, horror melodramas, definitely watch this one. So, I'm gonna give Animal a 9.1 out of 10. The Sound of Freedom, 2023, directed by Alejandro Gomez Monteverde. Now, this is a faith-based film, which I really don't usually watch faith-based films, and it's not, because of any reason, just not they typically don't catch, what I'm into. But this one I was interested in it. There's a lot of controversy behind it. Jim Caviezel's the lead, and this film is about all the human trafficking going on with children in the world, particularly in South America in this film. And this is a true story about a guy who saved a whole bunch of kids. And hey, this movie was pretty good. I had no idea whether I was gonna like it or not, but I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. I thought the message was there, and I think this is a movie everyone really should watch. Whether you believe in the conspiracies behind it or not, I mean, human trafficking is a real thing, so I would watch this movie, and I'm going to give The Sound of Freedom a 7.5 out of 10. Orion in the Dark, 2024, directed by Sean Sharmatz. This was a new animated Netflix film, and I'm pretty sure my man Charlie Kaufman wrote this. We talked about it earlier. I think this was a cool take that he wrote on a kid's film. Now, I didn't particularly love this movie, but I did like a lot of the visual effects. I thought it was pretty cool. The concept was decent, but I really did not like Orion. He was a little turd. He got on my nerves the whole movie, but I really do like a lot of the nighttime entities that, they show us how the nighttime works. And I did think that was a brilliant concept. I thought the writing was very good for this film. The execution was okay, but if you got kids, they will like this. Definitely throw this on. You know, I would give this a 6.6 out of 10. Sweeney Todd, 2007, directed by Tim Burton. Now, I've seen this movie way back when it came out, but I'd only seen it one time, and, I've been wanting to watch it again. God damn, this movie is gruesome. One of Tim Burton's grittiest movies, man. It's funny, though. It's a weird musical. The songs suck, I will say. The songs aren't good, but it really don't matter, because the plot and the story is so fun and wacky that, you'll still have a great time with it. I had a great time with this movie. I thought it was funny. I love Helena Bonham in here. I love Johnny Depp in here. They give some great performances. So, I would suggest this if you're into, obviously, if you're into gothic style, dark horror, weird stuff, this is right up your alley. I would give Sweeney Todd a 7.7 out of 10. Argyle, 2024, directed by Matthew Vaughn. Went to the movies to see this one. This movie was okay. It wasn't terrible. The reviews aren't great for it, but it's a popcorn flick. It's one you can sit back and have some mindless fun with. Bryce Dallas is incredible in here, though. I love her. Sam Rockwell giving a great performance. But I mean, the plot's kind of stupid. It's a little all over the place. You get a fun little cameo from John Cena and Henry Cavill. The cast is pretty good. I mean, it's a movie that you can have a little bit of fun with, but it's definitely not going to be on your top of the list, top end of the year list. I'll tell you that. So I'll give Argyle a 6 out of 10. Introducing Dorothy Dandridge, 1999, directed by Martha Coolidge. Now, introducing Dorothy Dandridge, it's one of my mom's favorite movies. Technically it's a TV movie. It's an HBO movie, but it was a Black History movie, so I decided to check it out. and it's very good. I remember watching it as a kid, but I didn't remember much of it. But it was great. Halle Berry gave a great performance, and it's just crazy that she played the first black lady to get nominated for an Academy Award and Best Actress, and then later she became the first black lady to win the Academy Award for Best Actress. So that's pretty cool real life story how it translates. This was a great watch. Nice story about her life. I had a great time with it. Anyone could watch this and get something out of it. So I'm gonna give Introducing Dorothy Dandridge a 7.8 out of 10. Hannah and Her Sisters, 1986, directed by Woody Allen. People have their opinions about Woody Allen, and I'm very much hit or miss with Woody. I either love what he puts in front of me or I hate it. This is a love. I love this movie. Hannah and Her Sisters was very, very good. Great cast. You got my girl Mia Farrow, my man Sir Michael Caine. You got Barbara Hershey's in here. You got great cast. Diane Weiss gives a great, great performance. This was just a fun movie about a guy who is married to a woman named Hannah. She got a bunch of sisters, and they all got their own little issues. And he just navigates through life with these ladies, and it's just a funny, wild little time. I had a great time with this. Anyone could watch this, have a good time. I know a lot of people don't like Woody Allen, but this is a good one. So I'm going to give Hannah and Her Sisters an 8.2 out of 10. Straw Dogs, 1971, directed by Sam Peckinpah. Now this movie was remade, I think, in 2011, and I actually never saw it, but I don't want to watch it because this movie is awesome, and I know that there's just no way they did what Sam Peckinpah did with this movie. This movie, it's a slow burner, but my lord, it builds up. It's about this guy, him and his wife. They go out to kind of the middle of nowhere. I think the house was left to her from her father, and these guys are working on something in the house, and they do all this messed up stuff to them, and they're just messing with them little by little. And dude, it just goes off the rails at the end. It's a good time, like horror thriller. I had a great time with this movie. It's vile. It's got a really tough assault scene in it that it's a little tough. So, but I would recommend this to horror fans. So, I'm gonna give Straw Dogs an 8 out of 10. Cinema Paradiso, 1988, directed by Giuseppe Tornatore. Okay, I'm gonna just let you know off rip. This is a top 5 for the month. This movie spoke to my soul. Okay, this film is about a small town that has a theater called the Cinema Paradiso, and this young boy, he befriends a projectionist there, and they develop a great relationship, and they watch movies, and the whole town loves this theater, and everybody goes here, and all the characters are just so brilliant. And the scenes where they're watching the movies and everybody does their own little thing while they're watching, and everyone knows what they're going to do, and it's just this big community, family loving, just movie atmospheric culture. And it's a film about film appreciation, and I couldn't I couldn't recommend this more. I absolutely love this movie. It was brilliant. It is a perfect film. I adore this film. It put a tear in my eye. This movie is incredible. It's a top 5 of the month. Like I said, I highly suggest it, and this will be the only 10 out of 10. The Tall T, 1957, directed by Bud Bottiche. I think I messed this guy's name up. I'm sorry. This was a decent little Western about this guy who ends up kind of getting held hostage with a young lady by these guys who are trying to get some money from her father. And he essentially, has to use his intelligence to get out of this. Nothing crazy, simple little 50s Western, but it was a good time. If you're a Western fan, I would suggest it. I'm going to give The Tall T a 7.3 out of 10. Hidden Figures, 2016, directed by Theodore Melfi. This was a very good movie. I don't know how I didn't see this when it came out, but another one I wanted to watch for Black History Month, and this film was very, very well acted. Taraji P, Octavia Spencer, and Janelle Monáe were all incredible in their roles, and you get a great performance from Kevin Costner too. And I don't remember his name, but the dude who plays what's his name from the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon, he gives a good performance. Glenn Powell gives a good performance in here. This film's about a group of black ladies who work at NASA and pretty much changed the game in the astronaut world. So it was pretty cool, or not astronaut world, space exploration, excuse me. But it's a great film. I really had a good time with it. I'm going to give Hidden Figures an 8 out of 10. Oh man, Nymphomaniac, Volume 1 and 2, 2013, directed by Lars von Trier. Now, I'm doing these as one film because it is really just one film. This isn't like Kill Bill. Like, to me, Kill Bill 1 and 2 feel like two different movies. This is one film. Nymphomaniac, it's Lars von Trier, man. It's a wild ride. I watched the director's cuts of these. You see some crazy stuff, but honestly, it was a very good film. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a good way to cap off the Depression trilogy, and I thought Charlotte Gainsborough gave a good performance. The ending, the very, very, very last thing that happens in the movie, really, really, really upset me. But nonetheless, I would still give this an 8.3 out of 10. Go, 1999, directed by Doug Liman. I love Swingers. And I love Go. Now, I seen Go way back in the day, but I just didn't remember it. And man, this was a fun little ride. A movie about a young girl who decides to try and be a little drug dealer for the night, and everything goes wrong. It's a fun time. You get some very young performances from like Timothy Olyphant and Taye Diggs and Katie Holmes. And, it's a weird non Christmas movie, but it was a good time. I actually liked it a lot. I'm going to give Go a 7.7 out of 10. One Fine Morning, 2022, directed by Mia Hansen-Løve. This is a French film starring Léa Seydoux, who I am just slowly falling in love with each performance I see from her. I always thought she was a good actress, but once I saw Crimes of the Future, man, I really got my eyes open to her, and she was absolutely incredible in this movie. This movie's about a young woman in her like about mid-30s, and she's a single mother, and she is dealing with her father, who is, I think he's going through dementia, and she's trying to get him situated, also while falling in love with a married man. And things are complicating her life. And it's just a tale about, something, you could really see someone going through. And Léa Seydoux gives an incredible performance in this film. I absolutely adored it. It was a beautiful romance film. I honestly, this is a top 5 for of the month for me. Yeah, I loved it. I would suggest it to anyone. I'm going to give One Fine Morning a 9 out of 10. Stagecoach, 1939, directed by John Ford. No, man, this is a classic Western. Everyone knows this movie and everyone loves it if you're a Western fan. I had a great time with this film. You get a young, great performance from the young man, the Duke Johnny Wayne. This film is about a stagecoach ride where you got a bunch of different people on here and they're all in the stagecoach for a different reason. And stuff just gets crazy. It's a pioneering Western. It still holds up to this day, getting closer and closer to being 100 years old. And I couldn't suggest it more to Western fans. I'm going to give Stagecoach an 8 out of 10. Love in the Afternoon, or Chloe in the Afternoon, 1972, directed by Eric Rohmer. Now, Eric Rohmer, man, he's a very interesting director, and he's a very good one because this movie is fire. This movie was remade, I believe it was 2006 or 7, or maybe even, 6 or 7. Chris Rock did a movie called I Think I Love My Wife. It's a direct remake from this. That movie is This movie is absolutely incredible. This film is about a young man who is living a pretty good life. He's partners at a firm. He's married. He's got a couple young kids. Well, he has a young kid and a pregnant wife. Things are going good. a young woman from his past comes back and kind of stirs up his life a little bit. And it's such a beautiful film about relationships and how certain people can bring out certain aspects of your personality and fidelity, and it's got a bunch of beautifully real life rich themes, and I couldn't suggest this film more. One of the best French films I've watched, that in one fine morning. So this is a top 5 of the month for me, and the last one. I'm going to give Love in the Afternoon a 9.3 out of 10. Rounders, 1998, directed by John Dahl. Man, you get a young Edward Norton and Matt Damon performance in this movie. This movie's great, man. Poker movie, high stakes, baby. It's a crime poker film. That's all I'm gonna say. If you've never seen Rounders, watch this movie. I had such a good time with it. And you get a great performance from my man John Malkovich. What else do you want? I'm going to give Rounders an 8 out of 10. Meek's Cutoff, 2010, directed by Kelly Reichardt. Now, I normally like Kelly Reichardt, but god damn it, I did not like this movie. This shit was boring as hell. I was starting to doze. It paced like a snail. It just wasn't it. It's about these people on the Oregon Trail, and they're with this guy who they don't know if they can trust, and they end up capturing a Native American guy, and it's just honestly, this movie was so whack. I don't even really care to tell you about it because I'm not gonna suggest it to you. It was so boring. I'm gonna give Meek's Cutoff a 4 out of 10. Possession, 1981, directed by Andrzej Zulawski. Okay, this movie was effing wild, man. It was wild, and people have told me it was wild, and I believed them. But it was a little wilder than I thought it was gonna be, truthfully, especially for an early '80s movie, man. This movie was nutty because this was a wild boy. I mean, it's a horror film, but it's really like a hard, deep relationship film, and it's like horror shit happens, but it plays out like a tough relationship drama, and it's really about possession on so many different levels. The title couldn't be more perfect. I would highly suggest this, but watch it with just know you're gonna see some weird, crazy stuff. But it is definitely one everyone should watch. I'm gonna give Possession. I give it an 8.3 out of 10. And last but certainly not least, First Blood, 1982, directed by Tom Kotcheff. Okay, time to embarrass myself. I have never seen First Blood. I've seen other Rambo movies, but I've never seen First Blood. Well, gosh darn it, I freaking love this one. This is the best Rambo movie. First Blood is just a fun ass 80s bang 'em up action film. If you like 80s action films, this is definitely for you. If you like 80s action films, you've probably already seen this, and I'm the loser who hasn't. I love this movie. I loved it. Went and got the Steelbook right after I saw it. So I'm gonna give First Blood an 8 out of 10. Guys, thank you so much for watching my Everything I Watched in February. Make sure you like and subscribe for me. It's free. Appreciate it a lot. I got a podcast with my buddy, The Cutting Room Floor. Check that below for more movie content. Follow me on Letterboxd, Ralph Vader. I'll link that below as well. I'll be back next week. And don't forget the popcorn.